You're gonna want to kill me because what I'm about to say, it's gonna feel like a lot of work. But hear me out because it's an investment. It's an investment of time now that I promise you will pay off later. Whenever you have a class, study it. I know, if you had a class today, when you get home, open your notes, open your book, and for 20 minutes, go over the material for that class. Had two classes? Had two classes? Go over those two classes. Had three? Go over those three. Had eight? Go over the 8 classes. Why just watching the class usually is not enough? Watching a lecture is usually a passive process. You're just receiving information, whereas learning is an active process. And often, the more active the learning process, the more you're gonna learn. Short versus long-term retention. Studying on a need basis, meaning, hey, I have a test coming up, let me go study, and I'm gonna ace that exam. Yes, sure, it will give you good grades, or most likely will give you good grades. However, if I ask you about the material a week later, you will blank. You will not know what's going on. If instead you decide to study every day a little bit, this habit will tell your brain that that information is worth keeping. And then when it's time to study for your test, you may not even need it. And that's how you could save your time. The downside would be, okay, you still have to locate your notes, but even then, your basis for learning will be a lot higher than if you were to just study on a need basis. Okay, let me explain. Here's the forgetting-retention curve. If you don't study the material fairly quickly within a few hours of first learning it, you will start forgetting that material quite fast. And then studying for it days later will be a lot more complicated. If instead you decide to study the material for 20 minutes for 3 days after the class, your retention rate will be a lot higher. In a sense, you could say that 20 minutes the day after the class is the same as 2 hours 2 weeks after the class. I'm probably exaggerating, but this is the idea. So if you value your time, this is something you should consider. Just like with any other habit, it takes time. Start slow, start with goals that you can actually achieve. Be it 5 minutes, be it 10 minutes, gosh, make it 2 minutes, I don't care. Just keep your mind on the prize and remember why you're doing this. Remember, later on, this will pay off. After all, attending a class is not the same as studying it. If you're just receiving content without studying it, you're not learning. Therefore, you need to engage with the material and study it later for your brain to finally retain it.